Hello, I'm in your CrimsonSkald, and you know what? I have a thing or two. I would like to dress and have a bit of fun and make a video of, because, that's what we do on the internet these days. So, this is an illustration I made for my comic called City Tales, and I'm just having a bit of fun with the character design and drawing scenes with the character in. So, she's roughly based around a pilot and a medical girl, as in having a bomber jacket. Yeah, a bit inconsistent here and there with how much bulk she is supposed to have. But regardless, I just made this thing. And then, Grok. And suddenly you can see here the brooch vanished. You can see that she suddenly got a scarf. And do the surfing, and that face, that face they make, yeah. Because the whole bow on the back just went poof. So yeah, it was an experiment of sorts. It didn't really work out that well. But the story really did end there, right? So, based on this picture, you suddenly I was in a conversation with someone, someone AI vegans, and then they suddenly brought up this thing. Oh, look at the rendering! Oh my god! Then you notice so many extra stuff. Where did the buttons come from? And then at least he kept the brooch and the hair somewhat. And the boots, almost consistent, right? The boots and the belt, but yeah, the buttons are a bit strange. But, so yeah, it's too shiny. And then they decided to use AI to do it again and mangle some fingers. Yes, over here. At least it's somewhat more consistent if you look away from the weird boots, shoes, boots, tights, and more tights, and yeah. And this weird tongue line up here. But then someone had to draw with one, of course, one more time. So here's just roughly, just to keep the details correct, because AI couldn't do that. Oh yeah, I forgot. And here is clearly someone and use a different model, because here is one thing you can see is practically just a reproduction of League of Legends splash art, where you get gold ribbons. You still have the fur, and that suddenly just cuts off. And you have belt with an unrelated buckle. Then you get the skirt suddenly got more gold linings for some reason. And the boots become... I don't even know what these knee protectors are supposed to be. And high heels. One thing I specifically did not ask for in such illustration. And it also has this weird, unnatural shininess to the lighting. Which is coming from here, I think? From up this corner. So, yeah, there is that, right? Somebody clearly had a better model when they did this and did this. But it's still sort of missing a lot of the points. Yes, only compared to this. But then somebody had to go one step further and make an animation out of it. And suddenly you realized emblem is on the wrong hand. Somewhat consistent, but It still has that weirdly balance in the center of the screen composition, where something is either driving towards or away from the camera. And you're manipulating so many stones just to make that little surfboard. That just a bit excess for a police person, you know. You would think. But so in general, though, the character is, if you think about it, is a bit more... is a bit different kind of animal. Because let's see here, right? So you have the bow in the back, the skirt, the boots, and you have the bomber jacket, and this is one version where you have... where you just have the sleeves. Then I was thinking of another version. I like to work on these things a lot. So here is also a version where she's actually just putting on a World War II bomber jacket, but just cut it off at the waist, showing the belly. We add the fur here. Okay, add some fur lining around here, showing off her very much prosthetic arms. Top of the line sci-fi, because City Tales take place in the future, in space, where technology and magic live side by side, for better or worse. And then you become a cosmic plaything, I suppose. Yeah. But still. AI is not a future, it's an added drain on the system. It's a brain drain, it's a system strain, it's a power drain. And it drives people insane. And almost everyone who is advertising for AI or promoting it say, oh yes, I have so many clients, I have so many works, I get so much done with it. Try to show it off on social media, right? But all of their Twitter account has very piss poor following and even less engagement. And all of the posts are kind of bait. And to make matters worse, right? They seem that the script is rarely upgraded. This is a bit stupid. Very stupid, honestly. So let's look at a couple of the arguments these people have, right? Also here is another cover of the character. I'm quite happy with this one. But yeah, so it democratizes art and makes it available for everyone to be creative. Yeah, to some degree, and put ideas to the paper. Sure, but it's not free, and you're removing agency. What do you mean with that is... I might not always be happy with the stuff I draw. I might be my own worst critic. But... you see, that's the thing. I am in full control, and the only thing you need to do artwork is really a stick and sand and some dirt. There's no excuses not to learn any do not learn any sort of sensible techniques. So what AI offers, right, is the slop is second solution, where you take the artwork you ask for and you write what you ask for and order AI to produce it, and hopefully the system will provide. However, the bit of an ironic thing is that AI works better if you know how to draw in the first place. Is very simple in that regard. If you can't provide it with good reference and information, it's a bit of a shot in the dark, because it's a very good prediction engine until it's not. It's neither intelligent, and what it produces isn't really art, or at least not the kind of artwork I would like to see. So the algorithm images from Grokler's is anything but impressive. So so that becomes a bit of the pickle in is that as with the pictures I just showed you, right? They only look plausible because the person who did it took a picture I already did, so you already have the elements you asked for. But the moment you deviate, let's say, okay, you want a magical girl, for example, right? It assumes that includes a skirt and frills and a bow. So so it will roughly think of basically a magical cheerleader, Sailor Fuku one, and then you realize, oh yeah, then you need to decide colors and then go, make it blue. What shade of blue? Then what pose? What is the person doing? And all of that. And every time you make iteration, it changes something you may or may not ask for. And these models are not particularly free either, because it requires a lot of power, especially if you run it locally. It will be a real energy drain, so that's not free. Once you use the model, you need to pay money eventually, and that's not free either. So, that begs the question. The time and price point for using AI. Is it really improving your workflow and the art and animation in the first place? Or does it give you the illusion and just fire up those dopamine receptors and going, ooh, look at me. I'm feeling good. I must be succeeding, despite despite the system going and spit and then it pukes out something somewhat useful half the time. Because also, this is gonna be quite a rant. The thing is also, when using AI, is that there's one thing people generally don't quite think about, is that if you have a poor vocabulary, poor understanding of placement in time and space, and are very bad with words, you're gonna be just as bad with AI as if you were as you were there before you were trying. Though it doesn't really improve art in any way. Maybe idea crafting, maybe. But then again, you could just start taking pictures from here and there and just cut them out with the group tool in Photoshop or something and just make a collage. And you have a just as good idea. And it's actually a lot more easier and reliable. Because remember, it doesn't have to look good to be an idea. It just needs to represent what you want. That's the same thing people often fail to realize with sketching. Is that the idea is not to make it a sketch and a concept art is not supposed to be pretty. It needs to convey what you need to convey. And that is not something the world is. That is something I don't think the world is quite ready for. If all your accolades come from AI, because you probably forgot to ask the AI how to get better, how to get good. Ironically enough, because I messed around a bit with it, and I just realized, yes, it doesn't really understand weight, gravity, and off center, and what the hell not. So, hopefully the bubble will burst, and the only thing we will be left with is some weird, annoying chatbots, and those thing called, and hopefully it will be fewer customer service questionnaires, and all of that. Because seriously, about all of the pro arguments for AI isn't very unconvincing. So you know what? You know what you can do instead? Get some paper, burn a twig, and draw with charcoal. And draw what you see, and recreate it as faithfully as possible. And that's how pretty much all art school starts, anyways. Still life, and learning about light and shadows. And there ain't no shortcuts there. Because you just shine a light on, let's say, a cube, and then you draw where the shadows are and the cube as you see it. If you can do that, or rather, if you can't do that, then you're not even qualified for AI art. Because the algorithm is kind of shit. But hey, that's just my 2 cents. He also have a Patreon. Links down below, and have a good one.